I will play this. This is a gender debate at UC Berkeley, which is a liberal stronghold, obviously.
Yeah.
Trans women should be legally treated as women. Tell me why you're strongly disagreeing.
Because I'm a molecular geneticist. Being male or being female is a developmental process. You can't go backwards. Okay. So you can't change your sex. Like, you cannot do that. And the truth is that currently in California prisons and prisons in other parts of the country, women are getting impregnated by other women. And there's just no way that, I mean, this is against the UN. After World War II, there was like I don't remember what body came up with this statute, but it was against, I believe it was the Hague. You cannot house female prisoners with male prisoners because they get raped. And that's happening today. You know, I go to the women's changing room at my gym, and there's a dude in there, he's putting on makeup and hoop earrings. And this is not something a woman does when she goes to work out. Nor do women beat each other to death, but men do. You know, and it's so sad that women have internalized misogyny to the point where the man's comfort takes precedence over the woman's safety. There's a reason why they don't want to be in men's prisons, because men beat each other to death. Women don't do that.
What, if anything, would cause you to move to the disagree? And is there anything you heard here tonight that would convince you to move one?
Her closing argument is not very convincing. She just says no.
No, I have figured it out.
She says that she's as convinced as she is that, you know, her hand in front of her face is hers and not his. The interesting thing that she brings there very briefly is that being a woman is a developmental thing, and that's true. I want to, because, you know, it's all fun and games to say, oh, you don't have a womb, you don't have ovaries, and it's true that there are women who are born without a womb or ovaries, or later become like they have a hysterectomy and they have their ovaries or their uterus removed. And it is true that it's not fair to say that that person no longer ceases to become a woman because they've had a hysterectomy, even though I have said that in the past to be inflammatory. And I'm not taking that back. I'm just explaining. A alternative theory here is that women are socialized differently and they're treated differently. Ellen Page, 5'1" woman, growing up, hits age of maturity. Men start looking at her differently. She becomes defensive because she's thinking, I'm a 5 foot tall person and men now find me sexually attractive, and some of those men would rape me if they had the opportunity to. And that changes your attitude, that changes your responses to things. Keffels is very aggressive. They get on Twitter and they say bombastic things, they threaten people's family, they say, you'll never take me down, you'll have to kill me first. And those are the behavior patterns of a male. That is someone who is socialized male, who is biologically male, and who has the mindset of a male. A woman would never say that because they do not want to invite physical harm into their lives. 5'1" Ellen Page would never get up in front of a podium and say, come on, all you men who are, you know, have 100 pounds on me, come and beat me up. There's no way that you can do that. I'm strong. Because she knows that she's 5'1" and she's a dainty female and she can get her ass kicked. Keffels is 6 foot something, built like a linebacker, beefy fucking dude, and very aggressive, like a man is. That's why they can posture like this. Same with Liz Fong Jones. It's not like, oh, I'm a strong trans woman. It's like, no, you're an aggressive man who is angry. And it's okay to be an angry man, because I'm often angry. But my point is that, let's say, for the sake of argument, you have a man and you have a machine. You have a magic machine called the Troon machine, the Pink Pill Machine 2000. And you take a man who has an XY chromosome and you put him into the Pink Pill 5000, and you press a button and it dings like a microwave after 30 seconds, and boom, that person has X chromosomes, and they look totally and completely indistinguishable from a woman that was born a woman and progressed as a woman without hormone therapy or anything. So bone structure, hips, everything indistinguishable from a real woman. You would still know, if this machine existed, you would still be able to pick out the pink pillars, not by looking at, I mean, maybe by looking at them, but especially when you see how they act. because these people who came from this machine would be very aggressive, very hypersexual, and very fetishistic. Like she says, she goes into the changing room and she sees a man putting on pumps and hoop earrings and an abundance of makeup because they're trying to bimbofy themselves. A man who had been turned into a woman magically would still be aggressively fetishistic in how they present themselves. They would be a complete and total horror in a level that you would never recognize in a real woman who wasn't like, you know, a sexual assault victim or something, whose self-esteem was derived entirely from sexual relations unnaturally. You can't undo this, and it's clear as day, and it doesn't matter what age they sink their claws into a child and start converting him or her into the opposite sex, into the transgender cult. There will always be a distinction between easy, effortless, natural beauty and the imposter syndrome that arises from this. So that's my thought, and it doesn't matter if I say it. These are things that are obvious to people. I'm not like some 3,000 IQ liberalist Sargonite. Mensa patient who's got this all figured out. This is just like people see this and they know something is wrong, and unless you really sit down and articulate it and have a lot of exposure to it like I do, you don't find the words for it. You just know that something is wrong because that's your instinct.